Hey guys, Mr. Plant Geek here. I'm going to show you how to make an outdoor succulent container. So we're going to use succulents that are all hardy, that will live outside for many, many years, lots of different colors, lots of different shapes, and it's going to be a rainbow succulent garden. You're going to love it. First of all, we've got this heavyweight container, which is available at QVC, nice modern style, and about 1.5 feet across. We're going to fill that with container compost. We need to use a good quality compost when growing alpines and succulents, and ideally one that has grit already built in to help the drainage. So this container compost from Plants to Gardens is perfect for that purpose. So we're going to fill our container with that compost. It takes a lot of compost, so make sure that you're filling all of that volume. The bigger the container though, the more moisture that container will hang on to as well. So it means that less watering for you as well. So we're going to fill that container with compost up to about 2 inches from the brim, and then we're going to lay out our plants on the top of that container. So we're going to use a mixture of sedums and sempervivums. This first plant is a beautiful sedum that I used to grow with my grandma. She used to have it in rockeries. Really, really pretty plant with this lovely decorative foliage. So I'm just going to place that into the container here. And then I'm going to use lots of different textures, colors and shapes. So my next plant, I'm going to basically lay out here. So I'm actually going to design the container as I move around there with all of these beautiful rainbow succulents. Next up, we've got this gold leaf sedum. So soon these are all going to intermingle, give you that whole range of different colors, and these are hardy as well. So I tend to design out on top of the container first of all, so I can make sure that I've got all the plants just where I want them to be. Sempervivums are very, very easy to grow. They're succulent plants, so they hold a lot of the moisture in their foliage, so that means less watering for you guys at home. Here's another sedum going into there. Just going to put that into the corner. So we're placing all of these out on top before we're then going to solidify the design at a later date. This is our rainbow succulent garden. Next, a silver-leaved sedum. Very, very decorative. Going to pop that into the edge there. And a ruby red sempervivum. Really, really pretty variety. Quite a new variety as well. Sempervivums are actually edible too. You can use the leaves in salads, and you can also use them in a similar way to aloe vera to soothe burns and cuts on the skin. Bet you didn't know that. So we're going to place a few more succulents into the container. We've got quite a few in here, but it doesn't matter because they'll be all very happy together. Next one down to the side, and then we're going to finish off with one of my favorite little sedums. It has really, really dinky foliage and fits well into this container. You'll hear that sound of gravel because a lot of these are grown in gravel, which improves the drainage. So we're also mixing gravel into the compost on planting and putting some on the top as well, because drainage is the key to success with this type of planter. So now we place all of our plants out in the container. We're then going to fill in around the plants with our compost. So filling all of those little gaps around our plants. Don't worry if you get compost on top of the leaves of your plants. You can either knock that off afterwards or just wash it off when you water the plants. It won't matter at all. It just looks a little bit ugly. I'm not the tidiest gardener. I always tend to make a mess when I'm planting up containers, and yeah, no wonder when I was a kid my mum never wanted me to do anything messy because she knew that I wouldn't clear up afterwards. But I'm sure it's different now that I'm older, and I will clear up after myself because I'm old enough and I have to. Otherwise, who would clear it up? So a bit more compost in between these lovely plants here. Got one of my favorite sedums down this corner. So this is going to be a very drought tolerant container as well, because these plants are all going to look after themselves. They need barely any water because they've all got succulent foliage which holds on to that moisture, which means a lot less watering for you at home. Make sure that all of those holes are filled in. So you want to fill up any air pockets around those plants, because if air can get in, then that could cause rotting around the plants. So make sure that you've filled up all of those little gaps around the plants. And then once we've done this, we're going to then fill in all of those gaps and cover the surface with gravel, which is going to help drainage, but also make it look more pretty and decorative too. So a few more gaps to fill here around our sempervivums, also known as house leeks. Okay, so we filled most of those gaps in, and we've got some dirt on top of the foliage, but that doesn't matter too much. We're now going to fill in all of those gaps with some fresh gravel. And this doesn't just help drainage, but it also helps the plants to look good as well. You might get some gravel onto the plants, but you can just blow that off. It's no problem at all. Haha! We're creating a mini rainbow succulent garden here. And it's looking pretty good so far. Remember to push down your plants as well. Make sure that all those air gaps are filled in. Keep filling in around your plants with that fresh gravel, which will fill all of the gaps around them. Okay, just a little finishing touch. Make sure all of those little nooks and crannies are filled in with fresh gravel. And then the last thing you're going to do is just water your container and then put it into position. And this will last for years because these are all perennials. You may need to divide them from time to time, but here you've got your outdoor rainbow succulent garden.